I think it's probably most important that the U.S. finish top of the group, because you do not want to face Brazil in the knockout round, the first version of that knockout round. You want to play the second place team in that group. So
Brazil's not a shoo-in to finish top of their group. They're not playing
Colombia.
well right now.
I mean, you're either going to play most likely Brazil or Colombia.
Neither team do you really want to face.
The setup, the way that CONMEBOL and Concacaf has done this, they've separated Argentina and Brazil, opposite sides of the groups even, so that Argentina and Brazil play in the final. Just say whoever comes out of the U.S. group, let's say it's the U.S., they beat Colombia in that
then they play
first
Brazil.
round, then they play Brazil in the semifinals. So Jesse Marsh was talking about this generation hasn't had a signature win. You want your signature win? Well, you're going to have to get a couple, because it's not only beating Uruguay in this group, because Uruguay is a top team, one of the top team, if not at this moment, the best team in CONCACAF.
They're the best team in this entire competition.
In the moment. You have to probably go through Brazil or Colombia afterwards. And the U.S. loses in a quarterfinal to Uruguay, to Brazil or Colombia, which is expected. And then again, we're at the, all right, they didn't underachieve, they didn't overachieve. Just like at the World Cup. They got out of the group and they lost in the first knockout stage. Even if you win against Uruguay and you get to the knockout stage, that's not signature win for me. Signature win is get to that semifinal.
Knockout round is a signature win.
And then, but
if you beat Brazil in the next round,
in the quarterfinal,
that's a statement.
And then you lose in the semifinal.
That's a signature win.
Yeah,
ever.
In an official competition, that's a signature win.
They could start the match down 3 and down 3 players, and we win. It's still a signature.
I don't like to talk about going back to 2009 in Confederations Cup when it's a small tournament, but we're talking about a signature win. We beat Egypt in that group to go through as a miracle. That's a miracle. We play Spain. Hadn't lost, defending Euro champion, eventual World Cup champion. We beat them 2-0. That was a signature win, and we lose in the final. But going into that World Cup in 2010, you can rest assured that everyone was remembering that performance in Spain, right? You had that signature win to give you confidence that you can beat anybody in the world. This group, they're super talented. Everyone has to be playing, though, right? For them to have that confidence to be in the best form. But you have to beat Brazil or challenge Brazil at some point in that tournament if you do well. But you don't want to play them in the first game of the knockout round.
I wonder how much weight, you guys getting to the final was big. That made waves. There was one less round, right? You guys got out of that group and then went straight into a semifinal, right? I wonder how much weight, let's just say it is against Brazil, which is massive. Arguably, you could say one of the biggest wins in knockout stage soccer history for the U.S. But then you lose in the semifinal. Let's just say it happens. I'm trying to visualize, does that represent success, losing a semifinal like they did in Copa América 2016? They lost to Argentina in the semifinal, didn't they?
But you're saying, if you beat Brazil in that statement round, that means you're losing in a semifinal to Colombia, Mexico, or Ecuador, most likely.
No, to the runners-up of within your group, not to Colombia, Mexico, or Ecuador. Out of the teams, you're either to Paraguay, Honduras, Costa Rica, Colombia, or Brazil, or Uruguay, Panama, or Bolivia.
Yeah, you shouldn't lose. If you've beaten Brazil, you should not be losing in the semifinal.
Then you play Colombia.
Yeah, you shouldn't be losing.
You shouldn't be losing. If you beat Brazil,
if you beat Brazil, you better get to the final.
Are you suggesting that if we beat Brazil and lose in the next round, that wasn't a signature enough win?
No, not that that's not a signature win. Signature tournament. If they lose in the semifinal after beating Brazil, I don't know. I'm just trying to get ahead of myself to see like what constitutes success. Everybody's talking about what constitutes success.
To me, success is how do we feel about Berhalter's job after that? That's really what this is all about. Do we sit here and say, you know what, he's not good enough, we didn't get out of the group, or we look bad and maybe we need to reconsider, or fans will start calling for his head, or we beat Brazil, lose in the next round, but you know what, we look good and we have confidence going into a World Cup. That's where we'll figure out whether it's a success or not.
It all comes down to how well they played, how well they competed. Did we look good? How many chances did we create? Were the tactical adjustments good? Not only preparation, but in-game management, the right subs, the right timing, flexibility. That, when you're looking at a tournament like this, a Copa America, you're playing against the world's best, right? North America has the World Cup in 2026. If you can beat Brazil or Argentina, you wouldn't play
Uruguay.
Final,
the World Cup winners
then
in this.
You can win a World Cup here on this soil, right? That's the idea. You're playing against top competition because
you have the tools to which to win a World Cup.
Yes, you don't get those. You don't get those friendlies.
That Miola kick going to your head, dog.
Wait, you tell me,
win a World Cup on this soil?
Well, you're telling me you can't? If you get to a final in Copa America?
Yeah, I'm suggesting that doesn't equate.
If you get to the final of the Copa América, you have the experience that can back you up to help you win a World Cup.
Guys, we have to get out of this group first. Can we? This is that is not a given. I'm a little scared.
But I'm saying, if you're telling me if the U.S. get to a final in Copa America, which means they had to beat Brazil and Colombia,
if we
and
get
Uruguay, you're telling me they can't win the World Cup?
They have the experience with which to win a World Cup. You're saying like they can win a World Cup.
No, they can.
They have the experience to which they then gain the experience with which they can take to a World Cup to try to win the World Cup.
Right. But I'm saying it's obviously a big if.
There's a better possibility.
We need to take a look in the mirror and just, a little self-awareness, one foot in front of the other.
Yeah,
100%.